Hello students, greetings to all my students. How are you all in this quarantine period? I hope you are using the time very nicely. Is it not so? It's a very nice time to build your all your talents, your career, your studies. Of course, how will you build your career? By studying hard. And here today I will teach you a poem of class 12 book Flamingo. The poem is, you can see on the screen, it is an elementary school classroom in a slum. By who is the poet? Stephen Spender. And it is in your Flamingo book. All right. All right, students. Now you can see this on the YouTube and I will explain you very nicely this poem. But let me just inform you, give this information that this channel is the Unacademy channel. You know about it. It is quite in the news. The Unacademy channel. It's a very good learning app for the students. Now here you can see one class in the Unacademy channel. If you go as a learning app in the learning app, you will see that you will have you can watch freely the special classes. Now here we are. Will be discussing many things, every detail of this poem. But to know more, you should subscribe the Unacademy learning app. And when you make the subscription, you will find that it is a very unique and helpful channel. You will, when you come to my class and join the plus courses, what will you find? You will find that every chapter is dealt, you fall into a discipline. And in those classes, you are having a regular class, and in the classes, you will have the discussion of the chapters. Then you will have, it will be a live class. You can interactive learning. It is a very happy and interactive learning. All right. So you will have live class and you will be there knowing the explanation, the question answers, and of course, you will also get all the notes of the summary and everything. So it will be a both the ways, the teacher as well as you all students will be interacting in those classes. So for this, you have to take the subscription of the Unacademy learning app you have to take. And if you give my referral code, then you will get additional discount. So here I am, your English teacher, and I have a long experience of 28 years teaching in several good schools of India, and I have experience of teaching every kind of student. And I can also guarantee you that in this CBSE course, the English chapters are very interesting. And if you join the classes, this will be a fun-filled class. In the class only you will learn. And what is the target? What should you aspire? Above 98 in English. Above 95, 97, 98, 99, and your target can be 100 also. And every time I tell my students that English marks are always complementary to your results of your board, your CBSE board. If you get very high marks, above 95%, of course, these marks will be complementing your results of CBSE and you will have a prosperous career. You will get chance in the good colleges all over the world, in India as well as all over the world. You can get chances in good colleges. And of course, CBSE course, all the chapters are very nicely given and it is according to your interest only. So in this, you will be doing the reading skills, the writing skills, then the literature books are there, Vistas. So today, students, I will ask you that you please subscribe the channel. You subscribe my channel, press the bell button so that whenever I give a class, you will be given the notification and you will be getting all your explanations in these classes. And of course, please share this channel with your friends and subscribe it. So here is the, what is my referral code? You see, my referral code, you have to use this referral code, NUPUR 10, referral code. What you will get? You will get an additional discount in the subscription of Unacademy learning app. So now let's go back to the class of the poem which I will teach you. It's a very interesting poem. And what is the name of the poem? An elementary school classroom in a slum. So what is the name? An elementary school classroom in a slum. And the poet is Stephen Spender. The poet is Stephen Spender. And you see that now here we start the poem. Now, most of you have the book, Flamingo book, and here you get this poem in their book. And suppose you don't have the book, you download it from the website of the CBSE channel, and you will, of course, you will download it and you will get the poem to read. So, very first and foremost, you must know about the poet. Now, here you see, I've just given you the text of the poem, the entire poem I have given you, so that you get a very nice idea of it. Now, here you see about Stephen Spender. I just want to give you a little briefing. Now, here in your book, Stephen Spender, what is his lifespan? 1909 to 1995. Who was he? He was an English poet and an essayist. And he left the university college and went Oxford, College Oxford, without taking a degree, and went to Berlin. Now, Spender, what was his keen interest? His keen interest was in politics, and also he declared himself to be a socialist and a pacifist. Socialist and a pacifist. Now, socialist means, you see, the socialist is the, okay, the socialist is the person who takes interest in the welfare of the society, and pacifist, a person who hates war, who is always for the good of the people. Such a person is a pacifist. Now you see, the Stephen Spender was a socialist and pacifist, and of course he had a lot of interest in politics also. Now, here in this poem, in an elementary school classroom in a slum, what he has given, he has concentrated on two themes. One is social injustice, and the second is class inequalities. Social injustice and class inequalities. Okay. So, children, you see that in this poem, we get the theme of social injustice. That is, you see the very name of the poem, elementary school classroom in a slum. Elementary means what? The basic education. School, what is the state of the school classroom in a slum area? The slum are what he's describing. The slum, that is the poor people who live in a deplorable condition, a really miserable condition. And government has opened a school for them. They keep schools open for them in their area. But what? They do not enjoy the school life because they have hunger in their stomach. They are hungry. How can they go and sit in a school and in a disciplined way and study when they are hungry? So, this poem is a beautiful picturization of the school classroom condition of a slum. Now, you see the poem, far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. The tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, residing a father's gnarled disease. His lesson from his desk, at back of the dim class, one unnoted sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. Now, students, you must always give a reading to the poem. First, what you should do, you should register the words in your mind so that you can understand the poem very well, what the poet wants to convey. This is what you will install. So here you see that, hello, hello Shivdeep, hello Saurav Singh Rajput, Ishika, hello dear, hello. Hi, good evening, Komal. So many of you are here. My students are here. Good. Please, please hear the explanation, okay, so that you understand the poem very well. Okay. Now here you see, as I was telling you, that uh, in the first stanza, the whole poem is divided into four stanzas. Now, in the first stanza, so just see the word meanings which I have given you here. The gusty waves, what does it mean? Breezy winds. Pallor, pale, dull face. Stunted, not fully grown due to malnutrition. Gnarled, knotted, rough. Weeds, unwanted plants that grow and on their own. Paper seeming boy, very thin boy, as thin as a sheet of paper. And what is this heir? Successor. So now let's go back to the first stanza of the poem. Now here you see the poet has described the first stanza. What has he described? He has described about the dim, dark classrooms of the slum. The children are not very enthusiastic to be in the class because they are poor, hunger stricken, and they do not have any interest. Now, the very first line you see, far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. So, what does it say? That the far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, that is, how are the faces of these children who are attending the elementary school classroom? They are far away from those gusty waves, that is, they are far away from that energy. How are they? Their faces are the dull faces. Their faces are like the rootless weeds, that is, they are unnoticed. They are very wildly growing. They don't have any beautiful life, no. They are how? They are just like the rootless weeds. What are weeds? Weeds are all useless plants. So their life is also very dull and useless. And far, far from gusty waves means they are far away from the energetic life. Gusty means what? The gust, very, very fast winds, waves. So they are far away from all these energies and they have a very, very dull life. They are just like growing like unwanted rootless weeds, unwanted plants. How are they? Their hair is the hair torn round their pallor. How is their appearance? That is, their hair torn round their pallor. Means the hair is all spread over their pallor means pale face. So their hair is all spread on their pale face. Now the tall girl, now the poem is pointing at the different types of students. Now the next he says that the tall girl is with her weighed down head. So the tall girl in the classroom, she has her weighed down head, means she has put her head low. And why she has put her head low? She's not very confident, no, like the usual normal children. She has put her head low. Why? Out of poverty, out of depression, out of distress. Such children are like that, no? Unattended children. They are just like this. So the tall girl with her weighed down head. Now the next student, the poet says that the paper seeming boy with the rat's eyes. That is, there is another student who is as thin as a paper. Paper seeming boy. The boy is compared to a very thin sheet of paper. Okay. And he has what? He has rat's eyes. That is, his eyes are like rat. What is what kind of eyes do the rats have? They have those rats have very restless eyes, as if they are full of greed. They are always wanting something. So the poet has beautifully picturized this slum boy. That is, the boy is like a paper, like a sheet of thin paper with rat's eyes. The stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones. Now there is another student. How is he? He is the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones. That is, he's stunted means he is in a very deformed body. He has a deformed body. And what is he? Is the unlucky heir. Heir meaning is what? Successor. That is, you are the heir of your father. That is the person who comes next. So that stunted unlucky, that is that deformed boy who is the unlucky heir of twisted bones. That is, he is the unlucky heir to a diseased man. Twisted bones means to a crippled man, to a person, to a father who is having twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease. So, what is he doing? What is that deformed boy doing? He is reciting the father's gnarled disease. That is, he is an he's having a body, he's having a life of his father's defective, all the diseases of his father he has inherited. And what happens? His lessons form up. What he is doing? He's reciting. He is reciting his lessons from the desk. Because he has a deformed body, he cannot move in the class. So he's sitting at his place and reciting the class from his desk. From at his desk he's sitting and he's reciting from there. Understood? So how many students are mentioned? The girl, then the paper thin boy, and then the boy, the stunted unlucky heir of a diseased father is mentioned. His lesson from his desk. At back, hello Ishika, your friends are also with you. Oh my. Saurav Singh Rajput and all these. Good, good. Very good. I hope you all are understanding the poem. Okay. His lesson from his desk. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. Now, what the poet is now pointing out at, that there is a boy who's sitting at the back of the class, who is sitting at the dim class, means the at the corner. It's a very dark place. It's a dim place. One unnoted, sweet and young. That is one boy who is unnoticed. Unnoted means who is unnoticed, but that boy is sweet and young boy. And his eyes live in a dream. So what kind of eyes he has? Now this unnoted boy has eyes with full of dream. And what is the dream? Of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. That is what is the boy having? That is the sweet boy who is there. Very good, Pile. Okay, Pile, you're understanding. Very good. So here you see what I was telling, that the boy One boy is sitting at the dim corner. It's sitting at the dark corner, and he's sweet young boy, and he has a dream. And in the dream, what he is planning? He's planning to play with a squirrel. He's planning to play a squirrel's game in a tree room. Tree room means a small room made in a tree. Other than this means that is he is not liking to attend the class. What is other? The classroom. He is not liking to attend the class. And where is his dream? Where is his mind? His mind is out of the window of the classroom. He's seeing outside and thinking of playing the squirrel's game in tree room. Understood? Now second stanza, I'll move to the second stanza. Word meaning, I have given you all the word meanings. All right. Now the literary devices, or what do we call this? This we also call as the figures of speech. Now, students, you can see the figures of speech in my special class on the Unacademy. That is, you can freely avail. You can avail that free class. Special classes you can see. All right. But for the plus classes, you have to make a subscription so that we can study together in an interactive class. So the literary devices are simile. Now children are compared with rootless wheat. Like rootless, when it is mentioned like this, like rootless wheat, it is what? It is a simile. All right, in the poem you see. Where is it? Yeah. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces were like rootless weeds. What is this? This is a simile. Now, students, I have earlier also told you that for simile, you will see that like and as is there. All right, then you understand that the comparison, the children's comparison is made with the rootless weeds. Okay. Now, the next figures of speech is, the next literary device of figure of speech is a metaphor. Now, a metaphor also, I have students, let me again remind you that metaphor, I have all these I have discussed in the figures of speech in my special class, which you can see. So, metaphor, what is a metaphor? Metaphor again is a comparison, but it is not like simile. In a metaphor, we don't use as and like. And in a metaphor, it is implied comparison, means it is understood. You can understand. It is not a very direct, but you will understand that there is a comparison made. So here you see, boy is compared with what? With as he is thin, with a paper seeming boy. So the boy is compared with what? With a thin sheet of paper. See here. The boy, the paper seeming boy means the boy is compared with the thin, seeming means thin sheet of paper. So this is a metaphor. Now students, you will pay attention to all these figures of speech. Now next one is repetition, that is far, far from gusty waves. Now this is what? Hello Devendra. Yes, Saurav Singh. He is the younger than the others. He's a small boy. So the repetition use of this is also important figure of speech. Repetition, that is use of far to stress on the distance. Far, far from gusty waves. All right. Now we do. Hello Devendra. Hello Saurav Singh Rajput. Hello dear. Next you see the second stanza you see. Our sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities, belt, flowery, tireless valley, open-handed map, awarding the world its world. And yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their futures painted with a fog, a narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, capes, and stars of the words. So what is it? It is, here you see, in this stanza, this is the second stanza. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head. Now what happens? What is the donation? That is, people have made some charity. People have donated the bulletin board, the chart papers in the schools. So, on all those chart papers, bulletin boards, what is it and what kind of classroom is that? The classroom's walls are sour cream. Sour cream means very, very dirty cream color. Not paint. The walls are not painted freshly. So, what kind of walls are? Sour cream. So here the sour cream and donations, on the donations of chart paper, bulletin board, what is hanging? The picture of Shakespeare's head. That is the picture of the playwright Shakespeare's head. That is the face part is put there, is hung on those bulletin boards. Hello, Amit. Of course, Saurabh, these figures of speech come. Surely you study. Yes. So how is Shakespeare's head? That is cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding on cities. That is Shakespeare's head is cloudless at dawn. That is, it is bald. Cloudless means without any mark. So it is bald and civilized dome riding all cities. How is it? It is Shakespeare's head is bald and just like the sun rising in the morning at dawn. In the morning at dawn is what? Early morning when the sun rises. Just as the sun rising at dawn in the dome shaped sky horizon. Dome shaped means what? Half semicircle. So Shakespeare's head is also like that. It is a bald and just like the sun rising at dawn and the sun rising at dawn, which is always moving in riding all cities, which is moving in all the cities. Who is moving in all the cities? The sun, the rising sun is moving in all the cities. Sour cream means, yes, we were sort of saying, it is sour cream means dirty walls, which is discolored wall, discolored wall, okay? Yes. So sorry, but there was a noise. So it was the cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities, belt flowery tireless valley, open-handed map. So what else is on the picture? What else is there? There is the belt flowery tireless valley. On the chart papers, on the bulletin board, there is the picture of the Tireless Valley also. Where is Tireless Valley? Tireless Valley is in Austria. It is a very beautiful valley in Austria. So on the classroom bulletin board of the slum school, there is a picture of the Tireless Valley. And what are there? There are bells, flowers also hung. That is, the bells and flowers and the beautiful Tireless Valley is hung. And what else is there? There is open-handed map. So what is there? There is also a open-handed map. That is, it is a big picture of the map awarding the world its world. So what is the map? The map is the map of the world. And yet for these children, now children, students, I hope you are following. So I hope you all are following this, okay? Yes, yes. So, sort of saying, I cannot complete the whole syllabus, no. I have to take many days to complete. So many chapters, so many things. Reading skills are there, writing skills are. The students on the plus, they will always be attending those classes. Here, I cannot complete, no. Few chapters you can see here. All right. So, what I was telling you, that the pictures were of the playwright Shakespeare. There was a picture of the playwright Shakespeare whose head is bald. It is just like the sunrise at dawn, which visits all the cities. And there are bells, flowers, and the tireless valleys there. There is an open, big map of the world which shows the picture of the world. Awarding the world its world means the picture of the world shows how beautiful the world is. And yet, for these children, now who are these children? Yet for these children, these windows not this map their world. So for these children, what is their world? Those maps are not their world. Those maps of the world are not their world. Their world is outside the window. All right, outside the window of the classroom. Now, children, these windows, see here, for these children, these windows not this map their world, where all their futures painted with a fog. So when they see out of the window, their world is there. And what do they see? That their future is bleak. It's full of fog, means it is hazy, bleak. They have no future. They are hungry. They only know how to satisfy their hunger, how to have a survival. So their world is what? Out of the window, which is painted with fog. You see here, which is painted with fog. And a narrow street sealed in with a narrow street here sealed with a lead sky. Now, what is their world? It is not the map which is hung on in the classroom. Their world is a world no which has no future, which is very hazy, painted with fog. And their world, what is their future? Their future is that narrow street which is full of lead sky, that is which is full of dimly lit sky. Everything is dull, dim, far far from rivers. You can see here, far far from rivers, capes, and stars of words. So, what is their world? What is their future? Their world is what kind of life they have. Their world is far, far from the beautiful nature, beautiful places like near the rivers, capes. Capes are also, a land which is jutting into the sea. All right. So their life is what? The slums' future is are the narrow streets, and their days, their life is far, far away from the beautiful nature of rivers, capes, and stars of words. Stars of words means and the beautiful knowledge you get from the books. Understood? Now, the word meaning sour is unpleasant here refers to the color of sour cream, off white or creamish, you can say. Donations, things given or received in charity. Dawn is what? Early morning. Civilized dome here means risings. I have given you all the meanings. At the horizon, which is in the shape of a dome. Tireless Valley is a beautiful ice-free valley in Austria. Sealed, shut, or locked. Lead is what? Lead is here dark future of the children or the kids. Capes is large piece of land that sticks out into the sea from the coast. Now, what are the literary devices here? First is the metaphor. Now, what is the metaphor? Walls are described to be as dull as sour cream. Now, you see in the book, children, if you have the book, aren't sour cream walls? That is, walls are compared with what? Sour cream. Sour cream means what? Which is very dull, very tasteless. Sour cream. So the walls are all divided into the walls look like the sour cream. This is a metaphor, the comparison. Now here the walls are compared with what? Sour cream. This is a metaphor. In a metaphor, I told you it's an implied comparison. You will not get as and like the simile. Now the next is the future of the kids is described as limited. So this is another metaphor. That is, what do they see? Here you see in the poem. In the poem it is mentioned, here in this poem, where all their future. Now this future is what? This is compared with the narrow street. This is a metaphor. Future is compared with the narrow street, metaphor. All right. Next you see. I hope children you all are understanding. Next is assonance. Assonance is a repetition of the vowel, same vowel. Now, for example, I hope you all know what are the vowels. A, E, I, O, U. 5 vowels are there. Now here you see the repetition of the vowel sound E is you will get in these words. Belt, flowery, can you see? Trialis, valley, all these. Next, what is the literary device? Allusion. That is reference to well-known person or place is called allusion. That is Shakespeare's head is there made mentioned in the poem. And then what is it mentioned? The tireless valley is also mentioned. Now students come to the third stanza. Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes. Now here you see that what the poet is pointing out here, that these maps which show the playwright Shakespeare, which show the bells, flowers of the Trialis Valley, so all these which show the lovely sunrise, all these are not for them. They are the deprived children. They don't know the what is beautiful in the world. So here you see that these are bad example for them. And with ships and sun, and therefore he calls, sorry, therefore the poet says that for those slum children, Shakespeare is wicked. That is, whatever they don't get, no, they think to be evil. So what they think? They think that Shakespeare is wicked. Some what man's photo is picture is put there. So they are all not interested. They think that Shakespeare is wicked. The map is a bad example for them. The map of the world. What will they understand that where is France, where is UK, where is USA, and where is India? Nothing. What is their world? Their world is those narrow streets. So, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal. Now, when they see such beautiful world in the map, these maps, what do they instigate them to do? All the ships, this beautiful sun, the love, the craving of good love from their relatives, friends, family, they get nothing. They are all unwanted children. They are all unnoticed children in the world. So, what do they do with all these bright examples given by the government in the schools? What happens? They get tempted to steal. So, what is they do? What are they doing? They get tempted to steal for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes. That is, what do they want? Because they are tempted to steal, because they have lives that are that they are slyly turned. That is, they are very difficult, very in a very difficult way. They are living in cramped holes. What are cramped holes? Their homes. Now, this is also a metaphor. The cramped holes they are staying, that is, they are living in those very unhygienic homes. They have unhygienic rooms. They live in the slum. From fog to endless sky, endless night. So, what do they experience? They experience the misery, they experience the endless night of suffering in those cramped holes. Excuse me. On this slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel. Now, on this slag heap, that is what is it? On this slag heap, that is on their very weak condition, very suffering condition. What is happening? Through by bone, where skins peeped through by bones. That is what is happening. Their bones can peep through their skins. They are so thin that their bones can be seen through their skin. On their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel. So, what are they doing? Their skins are so thin, that is, they have so thin body that the bones can come out of their skin. Now, next comparison you see, next description of those children, and spectacles of steel with mended glass. So, what are they wearing? Are wearing glasses, that is, they are wearing spectacles of steel, that is made of steel, that should not break. So they are wearing the spectacles of made of steel with mended glass. And what how are the lenses of the spectacles? How are the glasses of the spectacles? They are all repaired. They break Children break, no? They break and then they are repaired. Now you see how it is. With mended glass, that is repaired glass, like bottle bits on stone. How are those glasses? What is the comparison made here? What is the simile? That those mended glass, that is those repaired glass of the spectacles, they appear like bottle bits on stones. That is, they appear as if they are they are all stones which have been repaired by pieces of glasses. That is, blotches are there. They are stones which are repaired by glass. Students, are you understanding? Are you following, children? Okay. So here you see, you can understand now. This is again a simile. All their time and space are foggy slum. So what is their time? How are their days? Their days are all in the slum, which is foggy means which is very miserable, which is very dark, which is very unlighted. All right. So they are all unlighted and they are foggy. So here you see. Um, All their time and space are foggy slum, so blot their maps with slums as big as doom. So, what are their maps? Their maps are blot means their maps, their world maps. What is their world? Their maps are blotted means they are full of those colors which are of slums. And what are the slums? They are the biggest doom in their life. That is, this life of a slum is the biggest disaster in their life. It's very miserable. So this is the state um, of the slum children. That is, they are being given elementary schools, classroom, but they are not happy. They are those children which are explained that there is a tall girl who is whose head is low with misery, with depression, with distress, and there is a paper thin boy who is having rat's eyes. Then there is another kind of boy as described who has a deformed body and he has inherited the disease from his father. Then, of course, there is a fourth child described who is sweet and young, of course. But damn care, she is not interested in the classes. He is looking out of the window and he has his own fantasy, own dream to play with the squirrel game, to play with the squirrel's game in the tree room. And he has no interest in the classroom. So these are the children who are appearing, who are attending the elementary school classroom in the slum area. And next is slum area or the slum children. And the next stanza, the poet describes that the children are provided with the classroom by donations uh, of chart papers, bulletin boards. And what do they see on those maps? They see the Shakespeare's head, a bald one, which looks like a sun rising in the dome-shaped sky. In the horizon, it is like appearing in the half semicircle sky, which and the sun. What is the sun again compared by the poet? That the sun visits all the cities. Of course, there are pictures of bells, flowers, the tireless valley, and there is a map of the world. But what do the poets say? That those map of the world hardly matters to them. What is their world? Their world is those narrow streets. Their future is those narrow streets with lead sky, that is, with a hazy future. And they are far away from all the beautiful rivers, capes, and the stars of words. Means they are far, far away from the rivers, beautiful rivers, capes, and the knowledge people get from the books. Then the third stanza, what is it? Now the poet is pointing out that these kind of beautiful pictures in the maps, actually, what are they doing? They are not helping them to gain, for the children to gain knowledge. Like you all get so much knowledge. They are not helping the children to get knowledge. What happens that when they see those beautiful pictures, they are instigated, they are encouraged to go and steal, to find all those good things of the world. And where are they there? They are all on the slag heap. And how are these children? Because these children are spending their fog to endless night, all the sufferings they have. And these children have such thin bodies that their bones can be seen out of the skin. And of course, what kind of spectacles they are all wearing? Spectacles of steel. They are all wearing spectacles which are of steel and with mended. And how are the lenses? The lenses are those mended glass, the repaired glass. And what is it compared with? And those mended glasses are like bottle bits on stones. That is, they are like stones, appearing like stones on those glass lenses. They're just like that. And all their time and space are foggy slum. So, what is their life? What is their time? They are all those miserable times in the slum. So blot their maps, and these things only blot their maps or color their maps. With, and why? Because their life of a slum is the biggest doom, or it is a as big as a doom means as big as a disaster. So word meaning you see: wicked, evil, tempted, persuade, slyly, trickly. Cramped means confined. Slag, weak, mended, repaired. Blot, to mark with a spot. Doom is disaster. Now you see the literary devices. The literary, again there is use of metaphor. Students, you can see again there is a use of metaphor. What is the metaphor? Just now I explained before also that their homes, which are cramped holes written, those are their homes are compared with very small like holes. This is the comparison. This, what is this? This is also comparison, but it is implied, and there are no use of like and as. Now you see in the poem itself, you see here, for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes. What are these cramped holes? Oh, their homes. Simile is, there is a simile. They repaired spectacles like bottle butts on stones. So simile is used there. You see here. Um, Here, glass like bottle bits on stones. This is the mended glass. What is the comparison? The repaired glass, the mended glass look like how? They look like bottle bits on stones. That is, they are all looking like stones which have been repaired by pieces of glass bits. Now here we have done the literary devices. Now you see the fourth stanza. Okay, there is a use of alliteration also. I hope students, this is a very common usage. Alliteration is the first letter of the neighboring words. If they are same, it is called alliteration. Neighboring words means from fog. F, F, first letter. All right. So here you see in the poem. Here, here you see. From fog. This is an alliteration. Okay. Now we move to the fourth stanza. Now, the fourth stanza, the poet is very nicely giving the picture of the dimly lit classroom, then the different donations, then the third part, he is actually, the poet is actually giving, showing his anger towards the government authorities that whatever they have done in those maps actually are spoiling their life. So here, this is the third stanza. And in the fourth stanza, the poet is optimistic. He is giving the solution to the life of the slum. Now, the fourth stanza, you see, unless governor, inspector, visitor, see the fourth stanza. So, here you see, yeah, this is the fourth stanza. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Like unless governor, inspector, visitor. So, what is the poet wanting in the fourth stanza? The poet here, what is he saying? Here in this stanza, he is appealing to whom? To the governor, to the inspector. Inspector means inspector of the schools, and visitors to those elementary school classroom. He is requesting, he is making an appeal to them that to become aware of the condition of the slum children. That is, to become aware of the condition of the slum children. All right, what kind of dull life they have. So this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon. So what does the poet want? The poet wants that these people, these important people, the governor, inspector, visitor, they should come and see that what are their windows. Their windows are shut upon their lives. Their windows are those narrow streets, and they actually, what do they become? They are like catacombs. Catacombs means the tomb, or you can say the cemetery, the grave. So their homes are, what is the poet pointing out? Their homes only are like their catacombs, that is like the graves, like their very, very miserable life in which they are dying every day. They have no change in their life. Break, oh, break open till they break the town. So, what is it? Break, oh, break open till they break the town. So, what is the poet requesting? The poet is urging these people to break all the restrictions and to give them, break the town, that is, break the town, break the living of the slum, and show the children to green fields and make their world. What is the poet urging? The poet is urging to these people to break the rules and give them a life which are, or to these children which are of green fields, and make their world run azure on gold stands. That is, to make their life like green fields, and let their foggy life turn into azure's color. Azure means the blue color. Blue color. So, what is the poet saying? That let their life of a foggy life, let their foggy life be transformed into the like the azure sky, like the blue sky on the gold sands, blue sky, and see the sun rising on the golden sands. Now, see why golden sands? When the sun is reflecting on the sand, on the beaches, you will see the sand also appears like gold. So the poet is telling that let their life be transformed from that foggy life to the azure sky, where, and the golden sand, on the golden sand. Let them see the sun rising and setting on the golden sand, and let their tongues run naked into books. And so what the poet is appealing? He is appealing that give them, they should be given so much opportunity that they also like to read the books, the white and the green leaves open, right? And to read the books, and the white means the white pages of the books, and after that see the beautiful green leaves of the nature. Understood this part? Run naked into books. That is, they should be given so much opportunity that they should also have interest into books. And what are the books? They are white. And then they should, of course, enjoy the green leaves. That is the green nature, the green leaves in the nature. Open history there, whose language is the sun. So the poet appeals, he is a socialist. He says that for these slum children also, they should be given such opportunities that they'll read the books, the white pages of the books, and then enjoy the beautiful green leaves of nature. And when they too should be educated, just like educated people get all the name and fame in history. So they should be also given such opportunity. Now you see this line, history theirs whose language is the sun. That is, they should also be given such facilities, such opportunities, such brightness like the sun in their life, that they have education and they also get their name and fame in history. Understood? All of you have understood, students? Now you see the word meaning, catacombs I have mentioned, tomb, cemetery, azure, deep blue. Now the literary devices here are metaphor, books and nature are expressed in form of white and green leaves. I told you here that what are metaphors? Metaphors are comparisons. And here the books are and nature are actually compared with white and green leaves open. All right, this part. So what are metaphor here? What is a metaphor? Books and nature are expressed in form of white and green leaves. The white green leaves open. This is a metaphor, comparison made. Now there is also the use of anaphora. Now here you see the, again this is a figure of speech. Use of repeated same words if they are, if they go on repeating, if they are repeated. Now, why do the poets use these devices? Now, they use these devices to emphasize, excuse me, emphasize something. That is, run is used twice here. All right. For example, here you see, here, see this line, run, run. So, what are these called? These are called anaphora. All right. These are called anaphora. These are not repetitions, children. When in the opening, the starting of the line, the words are repeated, then they are called run, run. They are called anaphora. Now, in the beginning, I told you about far, far, where is it? Far, far from gusty waves. Now, that technique, that device is far, far. That is a repetition. But this is what? This is here, this is a anaphora. All right, not the green. Let me use this. Yes, this only. Now here I'll mark it. Now these two are anaphora. Okay. So anaphora is there. Now I've just given a little summary. I explained you word by word, line by line. I hope you all have understood. Children, are you there? The others also, the viewers, I hope you have understood. I have taken a lot of pain to explain everything, every word I explained you, so that you don't have any difficulty. Now, the short summary also, just a briefing I have given. Rest I have explained you word by word. Now, in the summary, you see the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum is written by Stephen Spender. What is the span of life? 1909 to 1995. Who was it? Now you haven't to learn all these. You know the dates, the span of life is mentioned just that so that you can understand what was the social situation at that time, what all uh, were coming at that time, what all social problems were there, what were the different ways of mending them. Now, for example, what is this time, 2020? What all we have? We have so many social happenings. We have pollution, we have population pressure, we have coronavirus. So many things are there. So, particularly that age, 99 to 95, what was the time of England at that time? And in that way, only poets actually reflect in their work, in their writings. For example, the Elizabethan period when Queen Elizabeth was ruling in English. Then we have the Romantic period. In the Elizabethan period, you have William Shakespeare. In the Romantic period of England, we have William Shakespeare, Lord Byron, P.B. Shelley, um, John Keats, all these romantic poets were there. Then we have the Victorian time, Victorian poet. We have so many George Eliot, T.S. Eliot, all these many poems, poets, and that George Eliot, Charles Dickens, all those are Victorian poet. Then after that we have the big modern age. So his time is also a modern age poetry, and he was an English poet. He had a keen interest in politics. He had a keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and pacifist. Now, the poem concentrates on the theme of course, social justice and class inequalities. And I have given you this. The poem has four parts, four stanzas, four parts. Now, you see what are they? Number one, the first is the description of the children of a slum and their dim classroom. The description of the children of a slum and their dim classroom. Second one is, just see, second part is the donation, that is the second stanza. In the donations, what harm is done? The chart papers, the bulletin boards, all those are the different ways to attract them, but hardly they are attracted. Their world is different. Their world is those narrow streets and with the lead sky, far away from the river, capes, and the star of words. Now, the third stanza is the anger of the poet against the authorities. That whatever they do, all the donations and all the setting of the classrooms, they are hardly affecting the children. They are actually doing what? They are actually making them go in a very different way. They start stealing when they see good life in on those school classrooms, example of good life. And the last one is the solution by the poet. So here the poem, what does it do? So the solution by the poem here, actually he's portraying the condition of the children in the slum and the pathetic state of this school. Schools are open, elementary school for classroom for slums. But what are they? They are most dingy, dim places where maps are hung, sour cream walls are there. Walls are not unattractive, unpainted. They are not even painted. And they are in a pathetic state of their school, which depress them more, which discourage them more. So what does he think? He thinks, being a socialist, that if these children, now you see children, if these children are given opportunity, then what will happen? Then they can also become good citizens on not and not criminals. They can, if they are given opportunity. The fourth stanza it is mentioned, no, that if they are given opportunities, what is it mentioned? That if they are given opportunities, good opportunities of green fields, and then what these opportunities will of course paint their life also into that azure, into that blue color with the golden sand, that the beautiful, they can also see the beautiful sun rising on the sand, golden sand. And of course these, they will also start reading those books of white and green leaves. That is, they will also start reading the books and of course be attracted to the beautiful nature. They will have that life. And of course the students, this is what they will be, those slum children, if they read, if they get education, they will get name and fame in history. Now here, so what is the main aim? What is the main, what is the message he is wanting to convey? That these slum children should be also given opportunity so that they don't become, they all become good citizens and not criminals. So this is the poem in which he is giving all these, he wants to convey this message. He is putting his attention on the slum because he was very much interested in socialism. That is, he was a socialist, and therefore he writes such poetries in which he has mentioned. And of course, children, you have I think you have understood this. The four stanzas, what are they divided into? Different parts. So here all we have, and what is the main theme of the? That is the social injustice, class inequality. These two are the themes of the poem. All right. I hope you have understood the poem. And once more, I will tell you to subscribe this channel. Now you see here how it is given. So here you see the, this is just to tell you that you please subscribe to my video at what? At this Unacademy platform, and you can use the code NUPUR10 referral code to get an additional discount. All right. So if you're aspiring to get very high marks in English, join the Unacademy and come to my live classes so that you can ask all your, there is a, there are different classes, the chapters are explained. Then of course, after three classes, there'll be a doubt clearing class. So whatever doubt you have, it will be cleared in those classes. And after doubt clearing, there are always those fun-filled mega quizzes where you get MCQs, that is multiple choice questions you get, and you attend those quiz and see what is your ranking, how much marks you can get. So you see, when you will do all this, when you will do all such poems, stories, you will go through everything. Three classes, doubt clearing, then quiz. In this way, what you will be benefited in every way. You will be regular, you will be disciplined, and you will have an interactive class which you can have in the Unacademy. Okay, children. So pay attention, and pay attention in your studies. Eat well, sleep well, study well, so that you get 100, you get at least 100, above 95, and you aspire for 100, but you can get above 95 in English, which will be an added, or which will be a complementing your results of CBSE. So children, good, thank you, take care, and see you in the next video. Stay